Hello and welcome to the Pop Astrology podcast. I'm your host, Jessie Peterson, and I am so excited to be here with you. I have so much exciting stuff to cover on today's podcast, so let's get into it. I'm pretty sure almost everyone has heard at this point about Barry Keoghan's allegedly cheating on Sabrina Carpenter, so I want to take an astrological deep dive today and show you where I think their relationship went wrong and how to use astrology to at least try to avoid dating a man who's likely to cheat on you. Also, this is my first video episode, so hello. I am drinking a little de-alcoholized Sauvignon Blanc from the brand Naughty with an O. It is delicious. This is not sponsored, but I wish it was, and I am manifesting it. And yes, I am drinking out of a margarita glass because it is very pretty and fun. First things first, I just want to say, if a man is going to cheat, then he is going to cheat. It does not matter who you are, it does not matter what you look like, or how good you are with bed chem. It has nothing to do with you. People are like, oh my god, Sabrina Carpenter got cheated on, what hope is there for the rest of us? And everyone said the exact same thing about Beyonce when Lemonade came out. But that is the wrong conversation. I honestly think that it's patriarchal propaganda that we even look at the women in these situations and think that it could possibly be something about them or something that they did wrong. The same goes for quote-unquote homewreckers. The truth is, if your man wasn't interested, he wouldn't do anything with that girl. We as a society need to stop blaming the other woman when that man has the full ability to say no and distance himself from that situation. And that's that. Would I want to be friends with a woman who consistently goes after men who are already in relationships? Probably not. Unless you're Ariana Grande. Ari, I loved your work in Wicked. I would love to be friends. But is it her fault that these men step out on their partners? No. Your partner was not trustworthy to begin with, and it's better that you know this sooner than later. Anyway, let's dive into some birth charts. Sabrina Carpenter was born on May 11th, 1999 in Allentown, Pennsylvania at 3:15 a.m. This makes her a Taurus sun, Pisces moon, and Pisces rising. It also makes her 25 years old. Barry Keoghan was born on October 18th, 1992 in Summerhill, Dublin, Ireland. This makes him a Libra sun and a Cancer moon. It also makes him 32 years old. We don't have a birth time for him, but based on some placements that I'll elaborate on later, I believe that he is a Libra rising. However, since I don't know this for sure, I'm not going to use his ascendant or houses when analyzing his chart. The third player in this story is Becky Hill, someone who apparently exists and is an OnlyFans model and TikTok influencer. Becky was born on April 18th, 2003 in Edina, Minnesota. We also do not have a birth time for her, but this makes her an Aries sun and a Scorpio moon. It also makes her 21 years old. I'll just start off by saying what everyone's thinking. A 32-year-old man should objectively not be dating a 21-year-old woman. And subjectively, I don't think that a 32-year-old man should be dating a 25-year-old woman, but I know Hollywood's different, and people are always like, she is a 25-year-old woman and she can make her own choices, and sure, I love you, Sabrina Carpenter. I am not saying anything's wrong with you, but something probably is wrong with that man. Sabrina and Barry met at the Givenchy Spring-Summer 2023 fashion show in Paris on September 28th, 2023. Here is her absolutely devouring the sheer dress on the day that they met. And here is the cute guy in the white jacket. I don't have anything, maybe not anything. I don't have much against Barry Keoghan as a person. I obviously don't know him, but I do know that he allegedly cheated on Sabrina Carpenter and that he left his partner shortly after she gave birth to their son. And I don't really like when a person does those things. And he's a Libra man, and I don't like that either. But I did love him in Banshees of Inisherin and in Saltburn. I'm sure many other women find him perfectly charming, but this white jacket look specifically is really not doing it for me. Now, what I do know about Libra men is that they are very outwardly charming, and so I'm sure when Sabrina met him and he was friending her up so they could connect, she saw something in him that I can't see through the screen. I believe it was there. I believe he has the charm. It makes a lot of sense to me that Sabrina and Barry connected and hit it off very quickly because they actually have pretty excellent synastry in their birth charts. The first thing I want to call out is that Sabrina's Mercury is in Taurus and Barry's Mercury is in Scorpio. They're 10 degrees off, so it's not a direct opposition, but Taurus and Scorpio are both a little bit of an emotionally uncomfortable placement for Mercury. Sabrina's Mercury in Taurus is challenging because Taurus is ruled by Venus and Mercury has a tough time in the Venus-ruled signs. This is a placement where your age can cause issues for you. These people might be treated like a child well into their teens and 20s, which makes them feel and act young for a long time. But then those same people might hold your age over you and be like, you need to grow up, which causes some issues with feeling emotionally safe around your immediate people. I will note that Taurus does rule the throat chakra, so this is a great placement for a singer and actor like Sabrina. If you have this placement, you might also be a great public speaker, politician, or any other role where you use your voice, especially to represent the collective in a powerful way. Mercury in Taurus is someone who is very committed on the outside, but in emotional turmoil on the inside. So when they meet someone with a Mercury and Scorpio placement, it can feel like, finally, this is a person who understands me. Mercury in Scorpio is an uncomfortable placement for the soul. Scorpio is a very obsessive sign, and Mercury rules your mind and communication, so this placement can act a lot like OCD in a lot of ways, especially relating to emotions and 8th house topics like sex, death, rebirth, other people's money, and taxes. These people have a need to use their voice and their communications to elicit a transformation in other people, for better or for worse. At its best, this could mean being a positive catalyst for someone else's healing journey. At its worst, this could mean damaging someone with your words to the point where they lose their mind. This is a placement that is likely to encourage a friend to have an affair, or maybe even encourage yourself to. These people need to be extremely careful with the words they use and how they use them because they can be really powerful and cause real harm to someone else. Unfortunately, not enough people know their astrology and don't realize that they have innate qualities that they need to be really careful about, especially when it comes to Scorpio placements. If you have Mercury in Scorpio, the best advice I can give you is to journal. Work out your feelings on paper before you speak them into existence so you can make sure you're choosing your words and intentions carefully. You have immense power to help people, and you have great answers when it comes to healing old wounds, if you're careful, evolved, and aware. Something that's very important to this story is that a hallmark of having Mercury in Scorpio is that if you get falsely accused of something, that's like the biggest boost of positive karma that you can get. You will immediately be boosted up to the heavens in the public eye so quickly, you wouldn't believe it. So, if these cheating allegations turn out to be false, then we will have a Barry in the public eye and he will become a hero. Since this has not happened and everything he posts sort of makes people hate him more, I am inclined to believe that they are true, especially, once again, because he's a Libra man. Unfortunately, what Sabrina could not see the day that she and Barry met under all of his Libra charm was that his birth chart is what I would call full of red flags. Where shall we even begin? I think I want to start with his Scorpio Venus because, oh no, this is also a placement that Jay-Z has, for the record. If you meet a man with a Scorpio Venus, no you didn't. You don't know that man exists. That simply never happened. If you got his number, no you didn't. If you want to live a happy life, you'll have absolutely nothing to do with Scorpio Venus men. This is a debilitated placement for Venus because it is opposite Taurus, where Venus is at home. This placement can cause a relationship to feel like a war zone. There can be a lot of arguments, and the relationship can be overrun by power and control dynamics that take it to a place where it's just like, oh, this is not fun anymore. Maybe it never was, unless you're someone who likes the allure of someone who seems like a bad boy, which I understand, but it's not going to be alluring for very long. In the absence of a positive aspect or a well-placed moon or Jupiter, these people can come off as mean, pessimistic, pointed, and sharp. I think Barry might actually be able to rise above this, at least superficially, because his moon is in Cancer, which is the moon's home sign. But still, you can't outrun this placement. Those qualities are going to show up at one point or another. As I mentioned when we were talking about Mercury in Scorpio, Scorpio is a sign that is obsessive. People with Venus in Scorpio are often not single for very long, and their relationships can become all-consuming. They can even have a vampiric quality. If you are listening to this and you have Venus in Scorpio, I'm sorry, it is nothing personal, but it is important for you to understand how this placement impacts your life. You need to watch out for indulgences. This placement has a lifelong tendency toward addictive patterns. I recommend avoiding both depressants and stimulants if you're able. Your natural brain chemistry is going to be your best ally in this life. Using chemicals to suppress your feelings of pain or sadness is a defense mechanism, and you really need to know where and when you're experiencing pain so that you can treat the root cause before the rot sets in. It's also important for you to have a project that you're really invested in and can channel your energy into so that you don't direct your obsessive energy at other people. All right, which red flag should I talk about next? How about his Mars in Cancer? This is extra important right now because Mars is actively retrograding back toward Cancer as I speak and will be there from January 6th to April 18th. God help us all. I do sort of feel bad for Barry because this is yet another debilitated placement. Mars is exalted in Capricorn, so the opposite sign, Cancer, is an uncomfortable place for it to be. Cancer is ruled by the moon, and the moon moves very quickly, moving through all 12 zodiac signs in about 30 days. The moon has a very sensitive, feminine, soft, and adaptable energy. Mars, on the other hand, is basically the polar opposite. He moves slowly, he's the god of war, he's all about aggression, passion, and taking action, and he embodies a masculine energy. Because of this contradiction, this placement signifies a person who is very passive-aggressive, will have a lot of quirks, and whose life philosophies and way of living are very contradictory. This is a person who likely struggled with their parents growing up, someone who has a lot of pain and suffering that they need to work through. The good news is that once you do work through it, you can have a very happy and fulfilling life. The bad news is that's going to take a lot of hard work, and until then, you will embody the shadow sides of this aspect, which include being manipulative, being prone to self-isolation, and having a problem with control and accepting responsibility for your actions. The positive sign of Mars in Cancer is that these people can be extremely loving, loyal, and secure, almost like a safety net. What they want in life is to feel safe. They want to own property and have passive income. I will note that although these are difficult placements, they also have the potential to be some of the most rewarding. You can have a lot of detrimental placements in your birth chart and still live a very happy, fulfilled life. It's just not going to come easily. You need to do a lot of work on yourself, and I just don't see a lot of 32-year-old guys who are actually doing shadow work and integrating lessons and in therapy and getting super introspective. And no, doing mushrooms every once in a while does not count. Okay, that's all for Mars. I suppose now I will explain why I don't trust Libra men instead of just referencing it every 5 minutes. A lot of the traits that people think Leos have are actually Libra traits. I actually think that Leos in general are very misunderstood. Yes, Leos love attention. Leos love validation. But a Leo is not going to ask for your attention or validation. A Leo would rather die. No, Leos know that they are fabulous and they get you to look at them and validate them by being their fabulous selves. The person who's going to ask and beg for your attention and validation is a Libra. They need validation, but a lot of the time they just don't want to do the work it takes to get people to look at them organically. And I specify Libra men because for whatever reason, I see this trait a lot less in Libra women. I think it has something to do with the way that women are socialized to not outwardly ask for validation, which is not something that men are socialized to do. And the reason that I say this placement signifies a cheater is that if that man is not getting the validation or attention he needs from his partner, he's going to get it somewhere else. Honestly, even if he is getting that validation and attention from his partner, if it's not enough for him, he's going to get it somewhere else. Also, these placements are big mama's boys, and that's just an observation from my lived experience. I will also note here that Jay-Z is a Libra moon. Libra is ruled by Venus, the planet of love and beauty, so Libras like to shine through their beauty. They tend to be very charming, and they like to use their Libra traits to show off. They are looking for approval for everyone around them, and they don't like to be criticized. These are very flirty people who often want to date casually and don't take relationships too seriously. It's not that they don't want to settle down and find a monogamous relationship, but if they're not truly and deeply ready for that, it's not something that they're going to do. Okay, so back to the timeline of Barry and Sabrina, and specifically why I think that he's a Libra rising. Barry Keoghan is a father. He has a son named Brando who was born in August 2022. His son's mother is his former partner who he started dating in September 2021. Counting backwards, this means that she got pregnant around December 2021. Barry's Saturn return happened to be exact on December 30th, 2021. If you're not familiar with the concept of a Saturn return, Saturn has an orbit duration of approximately 29 years. At some point between age 27 and 30, your Saturn will return to the exact position it was in the cosmos as when you were born. This is your Saturn return. Saturn is the planet of boundaries, challenges, reining in, being realistic, discipline, etc. He is cranky old father time. Saturn will push you. Your Saturn return is usually a time of unexpected challenges, obstacles, and hardships. What these challenges and obstacles will be is really determined by the placement that Saturn has in your chart. My Saturn is in my 12th house, which is your house of illnesses, sickness, isolation, going to jail, hospitals, etc. My Saturn return, I got really, really sick and I had to stop drinking. Getting sick, quitting drinking, addictions is a very, very 12th house matter. So it very well fits into my personal Saturn return. Your job is to face those challenges head on. Don't shy away from them, do the right thing, and congratulations, you will be rewarded. You will get to reap the benefits of your Saturn sign. However, lots of people shy away from their Saturn return challenges. They practice avoidance, they run away, and then they don't learn Saturn's lessons, and they need to repeat these negative patterns for another 29 years until they get another chance when their second Saturn return happens around age 58. Since Barry's Saturn is in Aquarius and his Saturn return dealt with children, I hypothesize that Aquarius is his 5th house, as that is the house that deals with children. Counting backward, that would make him a Libra rising. But once again, this is just a hypothesis. This also, however, means that Barry falls into the second camp of people who run away from their Saturn return challenges, as he did not stay with his partner to help raise their son. I don't know them personally, I don't know their arrangement, but I just don't like when men father children that they aren't prepared to take care of. Pregnancy is incredibly difficult and dangerous and life-threatening for women, and I don't think that it's something that should be taken lightly. I understand not wanting to be with someone that you only dated for 2 months before they got pregnant for the rest of your life, and that is fine, that is completely fine, but wear a condom. Or get a vasectomy if you're not ready to be a supportive partner and a present father. Okay, that's all. I'm stepping off my soapbox. Sabrina and Barry sparked dating rumors in late 2023 and were spotted kissing in public for the first time on January 13th, 2024. They confirmed they were dating on February 9th, 2024 after attending a Grammys after-party as a couple. Then on June 6, 2024, Sabrina releases the song Please, 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 in which she begs Barry not to cheat on her, as well as the music video that stars Barry. I don't know about you guys, but the moment I heard this song, I was like, now why would she do that? Why would she put that energy out into the universe? Our words are very powerful. He's going to cheat on her publicly because she wrote this song, because she was like, you're going to cheat on me, please don't. And like less than 6 months later, he did. On August 18th, 2024, a source told, I believe, Des Moines that Sabrina and Barry have an on and off relationship, which basically means that it's not going to last unless you're J-Lo and Ben Affleck, who I will probably do an episode about because those two have some of the wildest past lives karmic synastry that I've seen in my whole entire life. And then finally, on December 3rd, a source said that the two have decided to take a break. Brecky Hill starts reposting TikToks about Barry cheating with her. The rest is history. Okay, now on to my favorite part, looking at their synastry. Synastry is when you look at two people's birth charts and you see, if they have good aspects, positive aspects, and they're likely to have a good relationship, or a lot of difficult, challenging, hard aspects and likely to have a challenging relationship, or some combination of the two. Sabrina and Barry actually have wonderful synastry because they both have a lot of water in their charts, which means they have a lot of trine aspects. Trines are positive aspects between signs of the same element, where energy is allowed to flow freely. They also have a few sextiles, which are similarly positive, but a little less potent, and occur between like elements, so water with earth and air with fire. The trines between Sabrina and Barry's chart actually help a lot of Barry's debilitated placements, which shows that Sabrina was an incredibly healing and supportive partner to him. I would not be surprised if she ends up being his big one that got away, both for obvious reasons that she is Sabrina Carpenter, and because her birth chart really supplements him in the areas where he needs support. She could have been the one, but alas, he is a fool and a Libra man, which are the same thing. Sabrina's moon in Pisces is trine Barry's Mars in Cancer and his Venus and Mercury in Scorpio, which are all great aspects for a relationship. Barry's Mars provides Sabrina with energy and drive, and Sabrina's moon teaches Barry to combine emotion with action to achieve a purpose. This leads them to discover new things about themselves and about the world to help them reach their goals and to self-actualize. The trine between Sabrina's moon and Barry's Venus indicates that they were sensitive to each other and receptive to each other's moods and emotions. This creates a steady stream of creativity, feelings, intuition, and cooperation. I think that this really comes through on Sabrina's album Short and Sweet. Clearly, this relationship was a creative playground for her, and it makes me really happy to see her so in her element. Sabrina's moon trine Barry's Mercury just adds another layer to their Taurus-Scorpio-Mercury dynamic that I talked about earlier. There is free and easy communication in this relationship, which is probably so rare for them, having these hard Mercury placements. It means that their interactions were sincere and straightforward. Sabrina's moon is passionate, and Barry's Mercury provides a solid foundation for her feelings while enjoying her care and emotional nourishment. This honestly sounds really sweet and is making me a little bit sad. Brecky? Really? You threw this away for Brecky? Okay. I don't get men. Sabrina, please call me. I'm here. I'm a Pisces rising too. I understand you, girlfriend. We'll get along amazing. I will never cheat on you. Virgos are so fiercely loyal, queen. I can give you what you need. Anyway. Sabrina's rising, which is also in Pisces, makes a trine to Barry's moon in Cancer, his Mars in Cancer, his Mercury in Scorpio, and his Pluto in Scorpio. I'm going to go over these aspects one by one so that if you have any of these aspects with a special someone, you'll understand how they manifest. Also, a little plug that if you want to know if you and your special someone are astrologically compatible, I do synastry readings. You can check out my website at popstrologypod.com, or you can send me an email to popstrology@proton.me to book. I highly recommend not making my mistake that would have saved me a lot of pain and hardship and money, where I did a synastry reading for me and my ex very early in our relationship, and it said that we were extremely bad together, and then I proceeded to date him for 3 years. But, you know, a lot of people need to learn lessons the hard way, and it is what it is. It happened. What am I to do about that? So if your ascendant is trine someone's moon, it means that you are receptive to their mood changes and you're able to make them feel more secure and help them overcome their emotional problems. Your self-expression and outlook on life will have a very soothing effect on them. This is also a great aspect for understanding each other's body language and being adept at nonverbal communication. However, this aspect can create a very intense relationship that can feel like an emotional burden. Especially since the elements at play here are Pisces and Cancer, emotional water signs, I can see how it was a lot. 2 water moons in a relationship in general is just a lot of feelings, especially with all of the water in both of their charts. Like, I get it. I understand. You two were not meant to be. If your ascendant is trine someone's Mars, it indicates that you share the same interests and enjoy many activities together. You have good cooperation, fulfill each other's needs, and help each other grow. They can also boost your energy just by being in their presence. That Mars is so fiery, like it will warm you up every time you're near it, and because the trine lets the energy flow, it's just like giving you energy right, to your ascendant, your avatar, how you appear in this world, you're going to have more energy just from being around them. If your ascendant is trine someone's Mercury, this means that you think in a similar way, have good communication, and that it's easy for you to work and plan together. You are able to quickly understand what they are thinking and help to put their ideas into practice. Your easy communication can help solve any problems that arise in your relationship. I said help, for the record, and probably can't solve cheating. And finally, if your ascendant is trine someone's Pluto, you will immediately feel like you are meeting someone special when you meet them. I didn't really talk about Pluto today because it's an outer generational planet, and without knowing Barry's houses, it's not super helpful to talk about having Pluto in Scorpio because so does every millennial. But Pluto is extremely powerful and is a topic that I am very excited to talk more about in the future. This aspect to Pluto is mutually beneficial and indicates that these people will bring out each other's courage and determination and likely have similar interests in projects. All of this said, they also do have some difficult aspects in their synastry that indicates to me they would have never worked out in the long term anyway. In addition to the fact that Sabrina's Saturn return is still 4 years away, and she is going to change a lot through whatever obstacles Saturn throws at her. First, Sabrina's Venus in Cancer is square Barry's Jupiter in Libra. Listen to this. This means that the Venus person Sabrina may try to attract the Jupiter person Barry with love, but Barry's inner feeling of freedom and the desire for openness can cause problems with Sabrina's possessive nature. If Barry were to abandon his freedom, he could find affection and attachment, but would lose the independence that is a big part of his personality. This personal dilemma in him, or in the Jupiter person, makes a lasting relationship difficult. Does this not sound exactly like the song Please, Please, Please? Sabrina talks about wanting to lock Barry in the house so he doesn't cheat on her. The ceiling fan is so nice. Loss of freedom, which is a big part of his personality, especially as a Libra. This is just not going to work in the long term. Another big this will never work aspect is that Sabrina's Saturn in Taurus is square Barry Saturn in Aquarius. This is just sort of like okay, we're not meant to be, we can't be together, like let's just call it, because so much Saturn energy, like a square between two people's Saturns wouldn't work in a long-term relationship anyway. But when those Saturns are in fixed signs, Taurus and Aquarius, absolutely not. Stubborn, hard-headed, refuses to move, refuses to compromise, can't do anything. This aspect indicates that there are big differences between these people and their goals and the way that they do things and what they want to do. They're just incompatible in terms of what they take seriously and how they perceive themselves in social spaces. Even if they have other positive aspects, which Sabrina and Barry do, they have a lot of positive aspects, this aspect is going to complicate everything. It's going to slow down their achievement of goals and their personal growth. It's going to emphasize the bleak side of life. Every single time they get into an argument, it's just going to be negative, negative, no silver lining, no positivity, no happiness. This is not something that you want in a relationship, especially when you're young and fun. Sabrina's Sun in Taurus is also opposite Barry's Pluto in Scorpio, which creates strong sexual attraction, or as I call it, really good bed chem, but it is a really bad placement in a long-term relationship. This is a struggle between the very, very bright light of the sun and the very dark depths of Pluto. These things will just never coexist harmoniously. They will be constantly irritating each other and fighting for whether the day's gonna win or the night's gonna win. However, this relationship can lead to significant growth for both people. The last synastry aspect that I want to cover is that Sabrina's Mars is conjunct Barry's Sun in Libra. This is neither positive nor negative. Conjunctions are sort of just, they are what they are. But the Sun and Mars are both very powerful, so I definitely wanted to mention it. This aspect suggests an active relationship where there can be rivalry, but that rivalry can be transmuted into energy if you find common ground and do sports or some other kind of activity together. Action, achievement, and progress are important to both of them, and two flames burn as one. This is also an indicator of a relationship that has really good bed chem. And that is Sabrina Carpenter and Barry Keoghan in the stars. Written in the stars, no, don't. Stop. Don't. You are not meant to be together. Please don't try anymore. I think their relationship is a really interesting case study, though, of two people who just have a lot of positive aspects, but they were just not meant to be together. Honestly, some of these are giving twin flame. And I also wouldn't be surprised if we saw them continue to be on again, off again. I don't think either of them are looking for something really serious at this point in their life, but who knows? And the moral of the story, don't date Libra men. Don't. Just don't. Don't date men with Mars and Cancer. Don't date men with Venus and Scorpio. Or do. I don't know. Live your life. Just don't say that I didn't warn you. Thank you so much for tuning in. This has been a blast, and I am so happy to talk about the things that bring me the most joy, pop culture and astrology. If you have any topics you'd like to see in a future episode, please reach out to me. I would love to hear from you. You can find me on Instagram or TikTok at popstrologypod. You can send me an email at popstrology@proton.me, or you can check out my website, popstrologypod.com. It might not be live by the time this episode goes out, but I'm working on it, and I will have it up this weekend. As I mentioned, also, if you're interested in learning more, I do one-on-one synastry and individual birth chart readings, which you can also book on my website or via email. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend and enjoy this chaotic Gemini full moon that we have on Sunday. At least Mercury is stationing direct on Sunday as well. I know things have been feeling really unstable, and that's not going to change anytime soon. It's honestly probably going to get worse. But at least we won't have Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, its sign of detriment. I love you so much, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.